Welcome back to the Trucks, Trails, and Tales YouTube channel. It's a school night right now, and I believe this is going to be on a separate video, but it's a few days after we filmed the previous video. I'm going to be out here. I think in the last video we left off cleaning off all the hard grease and dirt that was on the rear leaf springs, which, you know, looks pretty decent now. Unfortunately, it's the same case on the front, which is honestly a good thing because that means that this car was properly lubed back in the day. So hopefully that means I don't have to replace too many components. But today's going to be, mostly doing that. Hopefully we can get through that tonight before it gets dark out and I, turn into a pumpkin and have to go to bed. So we'll get started on that. Now, I don't know if I alluded to it in the last video, but this car is actually old enough to have right-hand thread lugs on the driver's side of the vehicle. Hold on, shop supervisor's making sure I'm doing a good job. It's actually her birthday day. Well, actually it's the day we got her. It's not technically her birthday. We have no idea when her birthday is. She was a stray, so she just showed up consequently on the same day that my grandfather passed away, which is part of the reason why I decided to keep her, because I felt like that was an omen that a cat showed up the same day my grandfather passed away. So yeah. Anyway, squirrel moment. This car is old enough to have right-hand threaded lug nuts on the driver's side. My understanding, not right-hand, left-hand thread. I'm an idiot. It has left-hand thread lug nuts, so opposite of what you would normally do with a lug nut. My understanding of the reason they did that back in the day was because there was I don't know if it was backed by scientific research or just it was thought that because the wheels spun in opposite direction, that if you had the opposite lug thread on them, that they wouldn't spin off. That's my understanding. I mean, someone please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that, but that's a pretty awesome idea, I think. Now, the only downside of that is being, on new cars, you can just, lefty loosey, righty tighty everything, but when you're doing this, you have to not spay. We're not spaying anybody, shop supervisor. Don't even get that in your head. You got to pay special attention to which side you're turning them because, you could just break one off and that wouldn't be fun. So yeah, enough flapping at the lips. I'm going to pull this front tire off and then get you guys in there and show you what it looks like up front and get to cleaning on this old girl. All right, got things set up here. I don't know how well this comes up on camera, but this is the greatest tire advertisement I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what year this bias ply is from, but it's actually aged super well. I mean, might be hard to pick up on camera, but there is some dry cracking and stuff in between the treads. But like, other than that, this thing's still going strong. And the name, the BF Goodrich Long Miler, that just, if someone came up to me and said, hey, I want to buy tires, and something is called the BF Goodrich, not even BF Goodrich, if it just said the Long Miler, I'd be like, yep. I'm sold on that guy. This is kind of probably have to flip this up, but it's a 6x16 4-ply. Honestly, whenever I do buy tires, I think Coker makes a repop that's their own brand that basically looks exactly like this. They're a little pricey, but I'm probably going to go that way. All 5. I have a spare. I want to have a spare just because they're tube types, and it's kind of hard to patch a tube type tire unless you take the tube out. But yeah, I'm actually going to paint these rims too. Fortunately and unfortunately, I like that these are still the original color. My assumption is they were black, but they have this red stripe on them. This one and the passenger side front both look exactly like this. Now, unfortunately, the rear tires are just some radial on some same, bolt pattern rims, and I'm not going to keep these because I want to run original bias plies and wheels all the way around. I bought 2 wheels. If they matched these guys with the red stripe and everything, I probably wouldn't paint them, but unfortunately they're painted like a goldish brownish color. So I'm a big proponent of accenting cars that are black with white wheels. I just think it really pops. I think it would look really good on this car. So yeah, share your thoughts with me on that because I don't really know. I'm not really convinced on it. I did paint these rims that were on the 86. They're like I think it's called an antique white. It's just a Rust-Oleum color, and I actually really like the way it looks, and I was thinking about doing that for this. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, what you'd go. Or would you keep them black, or would you do something off the cuff? Like, I don't know, John Deere Green. Not the Joe Diffie song, but that is a great song. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm genuinely curious. Like I said, I've never really built or worked on a pre-war car, so I'm kind of curious what it looked like back in the day and what people are doing nowadays when they're hot rodding or rat rodding or doing whatever to vehicles. But I digress. I'll stop talking about tires and show you guys the goods here. So, as you can see, like the rear, the lighting's probably not super good, but there is just layers upon layers of grease just caked in on here, which, like I said, is a good thing because that means it was well taken care of whenever people were giving it grease jobs back in the day. But unfortunately, that means that, you know, there's a lot of cleaning I have to do to bring it back to where, you know, I feel comfortable servicing everything. Just because I want access to everything. Because like I said, this is an old car and, you know, I kind of want to replace, like, if I can get a good price on tie rod ends and, you know, maybe kingpins and other stuff like that. Just to do those wear items so that I don't have to worry about them. I did actually find that you can get, I think, both inner and outer tie rod ends are the same. I think. I don't know. It's hard to tell. This one looks like a grease fitting snapped off, so I definitely need a new one on that. But, yeah. Apparently, they both look the same, so I actually might just buy a 4 set of tie rods and replace all of these, because that's one thing that concerns me. They really don't seem super bad whenever you mess around with them, but I don't know. I don't really feel like snapping a tie rod going down the interstate and, you know, not having a good time. Also, look at the awesome service loop. I'm guessing there's a hole in this fuel line, and somebody just stuck a little piece of 3/8 or 5/16 rubber hose on there, and they were pulling a NASCAR. They're giving a nice little semi-service loop, I guess a semi-service curve to, you know, allow for the extra fuel to get in there so they didn't run out. But yeah, my squirrel brain has got the best of me again. Like I said, I'm going to get in here. I'm going to clean this all up. There's a little bit of dirt back tucked into here. Like, look at all the room back there. You could, like, sleep back there. I'm going to clean all the dirt and grime and stuff off of here, and then I'll bring you guys back once I'm done to show you the finished result. Well, after a lot of broken knuckles, no, just kidding, I didn't break any knuckles, but after a lot of hitting myself with hammers and getting my fingers caught on stuff, you can see I've made significant progress here. So this whole area up here was like covered with a nice big old thick layer of greasy dirt. And I got a good bit of it chipped off. You can actually, I don't know if you could tell before, but there's a fuel line that was tucked underneath all there, and it actually looks pretty dang good. This brake line, maybe it's hard to tell. Like I said, the lighting in here is garbage, but it's not doing a whole lot of brake line stuff anymore. I don't think that's going to hold any pressure. So that's definitely going to be replaced. I managed to get like a bunch of the grease zerks opened up. You know, tried to get as much dirt out as possible. This lower, what's it called? Bump stop is down. So I need to get another one of them. And there's just a lot of grease back here behind like the brake drum and everything. I got it to where you can now see the kingpin, get access to all the grease zerks. Like I said, I could have done a lot better of a job at it, but I'm just trying to get things mostly clean. And as you can see, it left a huge just track of dirt and grime and all that other fun stuff just laying around. So yeah, I mean, if anything, we're gonna be shedding some weight on this old girl and you know, really getting the most efficiency. Probably, I don't know, I've probably taken like 10 pounds of just dirt and grease off this car already. But the good thing is it preserved a lot of the finish underneath there, and you know, it's prevented a lot of stuff from rusting. So yeah, we'll call this side good. I'm gonna clean this mess up here and you know, just move on to the other side. Hopefully do the same thing. I've probably been at it for like an hour, so you know, this hasn't been a quick process. It's been a little bit of a tedious effort. So yeah, I'll pull you back in when I get the other wheel off and show you what the other side looks like. All right, so I'm sorry about the lighting situation. Like I said, this is kind of the dark corner of the garage, but as you can see, this is the passenger side. I'm gonna try not to burn myself on this light, and yeah, it's just as bad. There's grease and mud and dirt caked everywhere. Yeah, so we're just gonna spend about another hour just slowly chipping away at this old girl. And probably getting it as close to clean as I can on the other side. Like I said, I'm happy that it's like this. That means it was well taken care of. It just is more work for me to get it cleaned off and everything. But I'm happy because that means I hopefully shouldn't have to replace many components on here. Like I said, there's a lot of room underneath these fenders. Also, this tire, I don't know how it's gonna show up in the light, but yeah, this one's not as good as the old high miler. It's a bit down. It was completely deflated whenever I got it, and I pumped the tube up, and the tube's fine. This is the Lee Conshohocken. I think that's a place in Pennsylvania. I could be wrong. It says it's made, well, I can't really turn the GoPro to it, but it says it's made in the good old US of A. When's the last time you see that? But yeah, this one definitely needs replaced, but it still holds air. I mean, it could probably get like a mile down the road before completely shredding apart. So yeah, like I said, we'll get back on this guy, cleaning up all this fun junk, and I'll bring you back in whenever I'm done with it, and to show you the I guess the after. So yeah, get a good look at it. Look at all that. I mean, it's just a big, thick old layer. It's fun. They definitely, back in the day, didn't, save pennies on grease whenever they were servicing vehicles. So that's a good thing for us. Well,
I can now go to Hollander, and that's when he tried to go short side shelf, glove side on Lincoln.
Hold on.
Seared wide, kicks around the boards and rolls all the way down to the...
There we go. Yeah, nothing better than a Tuesday night listening to Penn's hockey in the garage here. By the way, local radio stations, I know a lot of people here like listening to Spotify, or all those other things where you can stream music. Sometimes your local country radio's got good stuff on, and they play your local sports. So yeah, listen to that sometimes. It's good. So yeah, I've been picking at this for like an hour here. Like I said, the lighting sucks over here, but as you can kind of see, I got, I'll move this over here-ish, maybe. I definitely got all of the gunk that was up there out. Even down here in the bottom, I got the stuff that was behind the brake drums. It's kind of hard to see, but I mean, look at this pile right here. I scooped the other stuff up that was underneath there, and it was at least 10 pounds. So I probably pulled 50 pounds of just sheer gunk, grease, and dirt off of here. It's been a good time. I did notice that on this side, that it has like a bump stop back here that the other one side's missing. You can kind of see that little nub sticking out there. It's missing on the other side. I guess that probably just limits the steering. Also, it has like a sway bar link, I guess. It's kind of loose and kind of rotting away. I think you can buy these things. I think this just literally slides into this and slides in here. It's just metal, and it just kind of prevents the axle from swaying, or the whole car from swaying. But yeah, you can kind of see in there, I got all the grease fittings that I needed to worry about ready to go, and enough to be seen. Yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed with this car. Like I said, it was all lubricated. Everything was good. One good thing I did realize that I wasn't too sure of is I found, there's a lot of companies out there that repop stuff for these cars. And one of the things that I found repopped were tie rod ends. And these, companies were wanting like $80 a tie rod end. And I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, that's pretty expensive. But I did find that, luckily on Evil Bay or Flea Bay or whatever your moniker is for it, there's a guy that's selling new old stock parts, tie rod ends, for, I think it's like $16 a pair. And luckily the outer tie rod end and the inner tie rod end are, at least from my crude measurings with the tape measure, the same exact tie rod end. I mean, it could have a different, like, actual, tapered thing that goes up into the actual, like, tie rod, but I'm not super worried about that, because push come to shove, I spend $32 on tie rod ends, and I just have a backup set even if they're wrong. They are all greasable, so that's good. So yeah, like I said, a big old pile of junk. This is a lot of just tedious work tonight. I'm sorry it's not any sort of, like, flashy, fun, you know, really getting stuff done, reviving stuff. But I mean, this is meaningful work to me, obviously, because I plan to service this car as much as I can. The fact that it's as old as it is and it was serviced this great means it's lasted this long. Unfortunately, it's flown stuff all over the garage here, so I'm gonna have to spend probably another half hour just cleaning everything up around here. But yeah, that's probably it for tonight. Like I said, this took a lot longer than I expected it would. And, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes your nights go like that. But yeah, so that's it for me for tonight. I'm probably gonna clean up and head inside. I think what I'm gonna do tomorrow night, and I don't have a light in here, but I think whenever we had last spoke, I was gonna remove that upper floor pan in there. It's got a couple fasteners that are probably not going to come out real well, so we'll have to fiddle with them a little. But I think we'll come back in here tomorrow night and get you in on that and show you what it looks like under there, because there's actually a lot of good stuff under there. There's like the trans, brakes, all the linkages for like the clutch and everything, which I haven't seen yet, and I'm actually curious to see how good of condition they're in. We'll probably catch up either tomorrow night or the following night and get you in on the action. So, see you then. So I wanted to show a broom up against this for reference, but this is all the stuff I pulled off the passenger side, and this was basically the same as it was on the driver's side. And yeah, I want you to take a look at this. Like, I mean, this is like moon rocks, or you know, whatever they called it when you were a kid, when you find those rocks that were like, I don't know if they were like lava or just asphalt, you know, when you were being goofy. But I mean, that's hard. Like, I can beat that off the ground, it doesn't move, and I was trying to break that all up off of there. So grease and dirt, man, it makes some pretty good, you know, I guess you could use that in your driveway if you wanted to, if you really so chose to. But yeah, I wanted to get that in here because that's a lot. And like I said, it's probably 10 pounds of stuff there, I would imagine. So like I said, I've probably pulled 50 pounds or so of just greasy dirt off here. So the inspector's making sure, you know, that gets disposed of properly. You know, she's not only inspecting my work, but making sure we're compliant to OSHA here, because you know we don't want to make the environmentalists mad. So fun stuff. All right, so we're back out here on the 39. It's been, I don't know, 2 days since I was last out here. I think the last thing you probably saw was me painfully chipping copious amounts of dirt and grease that had congealed together over the past 86 years. Off the front suspension, and yeah, that kind of took a toll on me. I mean, I know on video it looks like things just got fixed, and then or things just got taken care of, and yeah, that was it. But I did a lot of chipping and a lot of awkward angles, and it wasn't super fun. So yeah, I kind of just relaxed yesterday, and now I'm back out here today. I have a adult league hockey game tonight, so I'm trying to keep the momentum up and do something, you know, while I have a little bit of time and try not to fall asleep for the game, I guess. Now, when we last left off, I was saying my next course of action is going to be to remove the upper floor pan. And as you can see, it's still there, ready to go. Like I said, there's some fasteners that are a bit down that I may have to, you know, gently coax out of there. So that will be fun. But as I was looking at this, I figured in order to gain a little extra access to that, I'm probably going to remove that awesome looking heater right there. Just because I think I want to flush it out and do some other stuff to it. As you can see from, maybe you can't see, it's hard to tell, the little head mount thing on. The glove box is right behind that heater, or above that heater rather, and unfortunately, whenever we were cleaning this out, we found some dead comrades in there along with a little bit of mouse house. And I think over the years, they sort of tore that glove box up, made their homes in there, and it smells bad, and, you know, also has holes in it and other stuff. You can actually buy repops of them, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, what does that mean for tonight? Well, I think the first thing we're going to do is pop out that glove box. I don't know how good the lighting is in here. I'm trying to make it good, but somebody actually hacked the lock cylinder out of here. I believe there's a lock cylinder that was in there, and I actually have a replacement one for it. But now you just kind of press down on it and it pops open. And as you can see, you know, it's not really super good in there. It looks like there were some instructions in the back and some other stuff, but you know, obviously all the critters made their homes out of it. So most of this is just, it looks like flathead screws, and then flathead screws to remove this door here. I don't know if there's any ones that I need to access under there or not. I can't really tell. So I may have to pull this off first and then remove the ones around the outside. But yeah, I figured I'll get that off first, get that out of the way, probably save the fasteners and stuff for whenever I order a new one that gets repopped. So we'll start there and, you know, get that all out of there. Now, hopefully the lighting isn't too egregious here. I tried to finagle something together, but it doesn't look like there's any screws under this little flap here, which is kind of good because a lot of these flatheads here look like they've been rotted by mice pee, and we have a supervisor down there. She's making sure she's keeping an eye on me. So I think I can just remove all these peripheral ones, which I'm gonna do now. Hopefully they come out easy. Oh, well, yeah, that one definitely is. This might be easier than I previously thought. I don't know if it actually goes into like a metal nut on the other side or what the deal is. I gotta make sure I'm keeping track of these screws here. Yeah, so it looks like it might only be like 6-ish screws. Looks like there's 2 on the bottom right there. And then I can just set this thing aside so that when I do mess with it in the future, that might just be those screws. The ones on the bottom might have actually rotted out. I don't know what those screws are there. Oh yeah, there's a lot of mouse poop and fun stuff under there. We're just gonna dump all that all over the place, and I'm gonna have to clean it up later. Ugh, gross. It's too bad there's not like a smell-o-vision here, because this is absolutely god-awful. And there she is. Like I said, it's kind of gross. Looks like I knocked down an old HVAC hose as well, but that's all right. These are kind of down anyway, so. But I'll toss this in here and save it. That way we can use it later on. Well, I came in and got the shop vac out and cleaned up as much of the probably hantavirus that I just received from how badly smelling that glove box was and all the mouse poop in there. It's looking pretty good back there. I don't know how well you can see it with the little head thingy on, but there's actually, I already removed one. There's a screw right there, and then 2 other flathead screws right there. Hold the bottom of the glove box on, I guess. I couldn't tell because they were so rotted, and well, actually the top of the glove box part was rotted and it just kind of broke off. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get in there and get those out of there, but there's like a little nutsert in the bottom of the parts of the glove box that sort of deteriorates, so I gotta pull that out of there, but that shouldn't be too bad. And then after we get that done, we'll move on to this little heater here that's just absolutely gorgeous looking. Okay, so we wrapped up in here. Said that glove box is all out now. Everything's looking nice and clean back in there. Got all the fasteners out from underneath there, so that's all good. Like I said, next we have this little heater, which is really cool. Unfortunately, it looks like the defrost blower knob got kind of broke there. It looks like there's just a little flapper back there, so that's still functional, but the unfortunate little defrost guy there came off. So yeah, and then this must be a valve that controls water flow. It feels like it's working. It must just like let you change what temperature you want on the heat coming in. So that's pretty neat. So yeah, I've been looking at this and it looks like there's maybe 1 wire coming off it. Maybe there's a ground, maybe there's 2, maybe there's a ground back there. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll close that guy for now. And then we'll come out here and it's actually pretty ingenious. Sorry, I have a piece saved right there for the future. It's actually pretty ingenious how they install this. So I'm assuming these weren't actually factory. I don't know that for sure, but judging from what I've seen, they're not factory because some cars didn't come with them. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, drop it down in the comments. I really don't know, I'm just guessing here. I was born way later than this car was made, so I'm sure there's people out there that have way more information than I am. But as you see right here, there's just 3 little pieces of, you know, I guess threaded rod that I'm assuming either threaded into the back of that heater box or bolted in there. And you just undo them, and there's like 3 little spacers, I guess, to try to get the angle right where it hits the firewall. That's what makes me really believe that it wasn't a factory option, because they look pretty crude. And I guess, you know, a lot of stuff probably back then was a bit crude, but those are hack to the max, which I love. And then there's just one attachment right here and one attachment right here. So we're gonna take care of those and, you know, try to pull it out and undo whatever wiring there is and get that heater box out as well. Tip for y'all, if you ever do any plumbing or any just thing related to that where you're cutting any pipes or anything like that, get you one of these. I think every brand is basically the same, but it's like a PVC pipe cutter. It's really nice for cutting PVC pipes, but I found it really great to cut like heater hoses like this, which I always cut anyway, because I really don't like to reuse them unless I just put them on there, because they end up just going bad anyway. So I like to use them and just cut the hose right away, not even worry about it. Like I said, I have no idea how long these heater hoses have been on here anyway. And honestly, you can get a decent roll of it at on Rock Auto with anything you order for like, I don't know, you can probably get like 10 feet for either $1 a foot. I think it's like 80 cents a foot. So I like just cut them right away. Then I know the light's egregious, I'm sorry. It's not super easy to film with one of these little lights, and I'm not professional at all. But then I'll just remove the hose clamps that are on these guys. Save on them, because they're not that they're cheap anymore either, but any of the ones you seem to find either strip out after the first use or just are absolute garbage. So I have a big it's just a piece of wire that I have a ton of these all wrapped around, and I save them off any project vehicles or anything I use, because they just don't make them like they used to. So there's 2 of them. Like I said, instead of trying to fight with just getting this hose off, I just usually cut them. And then whoop, my light fell, hold on. We're back. And then I just take one of these, you know, cutters here, and I just score a line in there. May have to do it a couple times. But just enough to get it to where you can cut it. I'm gonna make a fool out of myself here because I'm on camera, which is okay. I'm used to that, but you just cut a line in there and then just start peeling it back. And that way, whenever you get to there, you can just slide this guy off and don't have to worry about fighting your hose. That guy's off. And then we'll just do the same thing down here. Like I said, sorry if you're not getting really good camera views. I'm not a professional cameraman. I'm not even an amateur cameraman, to be honest with you. I'm just someone who's trying to make a living off of YouTube and not have to work a full-time job. Which reminds me, I know I'm flapping at the lips a lot, but that's why there isn't a lot of progress on this, because I also work a full-time job as well. Obviously, we don't have near enough subscribers or anything or views to afford to be able to live off of YouTube, which would ultimately be a good goal someday, because if you guys really like this stuff, much like I really like it, then we could come to terms together and I could do stuff and you guys could enjoy it as well. But yeah, for right now, that's not really a possibility. So you get me blabbing out here half delirious after an 8 to 9 hour shift at work, trying to cut things and hopefully not cut my finger off. There we go. So there we go. Like I said, those ends are ruined now, but we got those heater hoses off. What's interesting too is they don't even put a like a lip or a flare on the end of them. They just straight piped it and said, yep, nope, that'll work. Which I guess my understanding is these things didn't produce a whole lot of oil pressure, which means I assume they probably don't have a lot of cooling system pressure either. But yeah, we got those off. I'm gonna go put these hose clamps away and we'll get started on those bolts. All right, we're back on these bolts here. Hopefully these all come out half decent. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fine. Oh, they're gonna mostly thread off by hand. All right. Which is nice because I don't have a ratcheting wrench, so I'm just here using my, I don't know what this is. Armstrong 13/16. I don't know, 12-point box end wrench, whatever. I don't know. I don't understand tool lingo. I have tools and that's about it. So there's one. I have noticed too, they really like to use serrated lock washers back in the day instead of like split lock. Maybe that was just the technology back in the day. Like I said, I know you guys probably can't see this, but here, maybe if I use this finger, there we go. Now my head's in an awkward position, but I think we're getting it off. And then I'm just gonna try to lay these out in a position that kind of resembles how I took it off. That way, for my sake, when I go to put it back on, I don't completely mess it up, which I probably would do anyway and have to do it 8 times, but that's the fun of working on cars, I guess. There's 2. Look at that, they're all gonna come off real nice, like, which is good for me. I am interested to see what types of critters found their way into that heater box too. I noticed when I was working that defrost and just heat flapper down there that it looked like there was a bunch of fun stuff coming out of there. So yeah, it'll be fun. Good thing too is if I remove this heater box, and like I said, my plan is to get this done by the new year, but even if I don't get it done by then, I can always keep this heater box out and put it back in before next year's winter. It all depends on what time and money we have to get this project done, which right now we're looking pretty good. There we go. All right, so that looks like everything out here that we needed to pull off. Let's move inside and see what we can do in there. Like I said, you can see it's just a pull thread. Whoop, it's already fallen out. Will you hold yourself or no? Oh, well, it's already fallen out. So it's already uninstalling itself. Let's just go around and see what it's doing. And there it is. Oh, definitely didn't bend anything. All right, I'm gonna come in here. It looks like it's just got a ground on it. Oh, see, you got there's little washers and stuff. All right, I'm gonna trace this wire down real quick and pull it off, and then we'll get this in some better light so y'all can see it. So the supervisor's watching me down here. She's genuinely curious in what I'm doing. So I got the heater box out. This is what it looks like. Like I said, there's a lot of gunk trapped in it that I probably need to take care of. I can't tell if it's actually in the heater itself or if it's, you know, just in this little housing and stuff. So I'll probably try to take this cover off and see what I can do with that. Now, one thing I am curious about, this wire, it actually ran to like a relay that looked like it was controlled off of like keyed ignition. So if you like turn the ignition key to run, it would turn the heater on, and there's like a little light and a little, I don't know, there's like a little plastic thing under there. I didn't know exactly how to work it. I'm guessing it was some sort of like rheostat. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just a rheostat that waited until you got ignition power from the key and then you just adjusted the fan speed. I don't know. I'm honestly not too sure. This was grounded to the frame of this little heater. As you can see, they service looped it there, and this is what ran to that little, like I said, another rheostat or relay or something. But they service looped the crap out of this, so we got plenty of extra, and as you can see, it looks like it's been taped up at some point anyway. But what I am curious about is when I first put this heater on the car, I just plugged it into 12 volts, but I negatively grounded it. I was being smart, and the fan actually turned on. Curious if I hit it with this again, will it actually turn on? So we're gonna turn this to the blower to driver. I don't think it really matters. I think it just controls a little flapper valve there. And we're gonna positive ground this. We're gonna hit this here and see if we can get that fan to go. Mind you, I haven't tested this, so it could go horribly wrong, but let's see. All right. Hear that? Dude, that's awesome. Dude, it's so smooth too. And it's, what? This heater was probably installed when it was brand new. So this is an 86-year-old heater that, as long as it holds, you know, water in it, which it probably should, it's gonna work just fine for this car. That means I can keep nice and toasty warm and defrost the windows whenever I drive this in the middle of the winter or something. So, man, that's awesome. Old technology, man. They just don't make stuff like they used to. So let's see real quick. So that is driver. So I'm assuming that means that it comes out of the front of there and here. And then if you defrost, it shuts that flapper and it must come out of these two. Yep, it still comes out the front both times, but what if you keep it in the middle? Does it just not turn on at all? Oh, nope, it does. That must just be neither of them then. It must just be coming out of this little heater box. Nope, it still comes out of there. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that's awesome, because that means we'll be able to use this effectively and wire it however we want to. Probably not through a rheostat. I'll probably just put it on a switch because I really don't need to worry about what it's doing. But yeah, cool piece of kit for 80 something years old and still working. I mean, that's just goes to show you that people back then at least cared more about what people nowadays do with their jobs and actually want to make things last a long time. So yeah, cool little piece of history there. So I'm slowly running out of time, GoPro battery, and just overall care to do any of this. But as you can see, we got that heater core out. It works, which is awesome. Glove box is out, and now we have to get all of these screws out on this front floor pan. Luckily, there's not a whole lot, but unfortunately, like the driver's side over here, or the passenger side over here, we got a lot of them that are just not really in good shape. So we're gonna hit them with some good old high quality Tractor Supply knockoff BB Blaster, I guess is what you'd call it. We're gonna hit all of them too, just because we're here. And then I'm gonna hit the ones for the floor dimmer on there. I'm not gonna film myself getting all this stuff out of here, because honestly, I don't think anybody wants to watch me struggle for what? Let's see, what time is it now? Don't make fun of my flip phone. 7 o'clock. I have until about, I got 2 hours, and I actually might need the full 2 hours to do this. So I'm just gonna go about this and you know, just try to get this all out. And if I get it out tonight, I'll bring you guys back whenever it's completely out. But like I said, a lot of these ones on the driver's side are gonna be okay. These guys, I'm assuming, are gonna be a bear. So, and they're flatheads, so that makes it even better. So we'll bring you back whenever we've either, you know, had a great success or a great defeat. Well, as you can see, things escalated quickly and I stopped asking nicely. So that's the upper floor pan, I guess you would call it. Yeah, like I said, a lot of rusted fasteners, unfortunately. So I got out the universal screwdriver here, and I got most of the bolts out. I think there was one right there you kind of can't see. One there, one there. I think it might have been another one somewhere else that I had to take care of, but yeah, they all came out. Luckily, I can probably get at most of them from the backside, except for that guy right there. I'm probably just gonna grind him down flush, but I can get to that guy from the backside. I can even get channel locks on, or not channel locks, vice grips on a good bit of these. But yeah, I mean, look at all the room we got in here now. It's actually really cool how they do this. I was genuinely curious, but like, there's your master cylinder right there. As you can see, I had to cut the floor pan out around the dimmer switch because I need to get those bolts out separately as well. But yeah, it's actually pretty cool. If you ever had to service this thing and it wasn't a rusted, you know, piece that's been sitting for many, many years, you could very easily get in here and just, you know, service everything, pull out the floor pan. I mean, there was really nothing I had to take off of it either. Like, if you just remove the bottom and top part, like, you have all the access here that you need to anything. I mean, exhaust, manifolds right there. You know, accelerator, clutch, fuel. Looks like someone might have, oh, nope. I thought someone might have welded that clutch pedal back together, but that's just, nope, that's just some sort of like weather material or something. But yeah, I mean, there's your band for your parking brake, transmission. There's your fill plug, I'm guessing, for your trans. So yeah, all in all, not too bad. Like I said, it probably took me a half hour or so. Once I realized that a bunch of those flathead bolts weren't coming out, I just decided to disintegrate them with the angle grinder and cut off this because it wasn't worth trying to salvage them. Probably I'm just going to sheet metal screw whatever floor pan I put in here in anyway, so I'm really not super concerned about that. Doesn't really matter to me. This car's never going to be perfect. It's not going to be show quality ever anyway, so we'll just make it as nice as it is as we can with what we got and go from there. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I have a good bit of cleaning to do up here. Just underneath the car, all the mouse poop that fell down there, all the stuff that's been sitting there behind these floor pans for many years. Just a lot of sweeping and cleaning to do. So yeah, I don't know when we'll get back onto this next. Probably, it's Thursday now, so probably sometime this weekend. I kind of got to think about what I want to do next. Probably one of the easier things is painting these, I guess, steps. I'd already cleaned them off before. Probably gonna just buy some masking material, tape off the doors and the fenders and all that stuff, and then, you know, hit some rust converter on that. But first we'll probably prep it. You know, there's a little moss and like some rough stuff here. Just prep it down to where we can get it smooth. Rust converter, and then paint it. I have some leftover gloss black spray paint. I really don't want to do gloss. I don't think it'll match sort of what's going on here, but also I really don't care. It's what I have and it's cheap because I already own it. So we'll probably do some of that next, and then from there, I'm really not sure what else we'll get into. I definitely have some parts coming, but honestly, I can't remember what they are. All right, well, it's 2 days later. We're back out here on the 39. Yeah, we're gonna get back into this. Got a pretty busy weekend here, but I still want to keep the ball rolling with this guy. So I think what we're gonna start off doing, or just this weekend since it is so busy, is we're gonna take care of these running boards. Now, as you can see, they got a nice layer of surface rust on them. In some spots, like where I believe the mount is underneath, where dirt collects in it, you can see here it started to, you know, have a little more than surface rust. And here as well, up on the front where the other mount is. I'm not super concerned with the look of it. I would like to get some of these sharp edges down off of it because I feel like those could be pretty bad. Someone stepping up into this or rubs their hand across it or something, that could cut them up. So I'm probably going to take a flap disc and an angle grinder and clear that, or at least knock that down. Maybe use a wire brush on a, either on an angle grinder or on a, what do you call it? A drill to clean that up as well. Like I said, this side is not that bad. The other side's a little bit worse, and I don't know why. I feel like the driver's side should be worse, but it's not. But yeah, see, like right there, well, it's kind of hard to see because of the sunlight. Can I do that? There we go. You can see that back there is a pretty rotted. Up here is not that bad, but yeah, so I think my plan is going to be to clean these up, you know, knock down any sharp edges on these, and then wipe down with some brake clean or something, mask it, and then hit it with some rust converter, and then let that dry overnight tonight, and then come in tomorrow morning and spray it down with just some regular gloss black spray paint I have. I have a bunch of it, so it'll make it nice. Okay, so we're over here on the passenger side. I got a nice, I think it's like a, it's a 120 grit flap disc. All right, so we're not too rough or too coarse here. But yeah, we're gonna use this, like I said, knock down some of the edges on this guy. I've already cut myself on this a couple times, and I don't want anybody else to, so we'll just take this guy, knock down any edges on that. This one's probably fine, but we'll take a quick pass over it just for, you know, posterity's sake. Maybe Sam can put some awesome cloud music or something in post, and you guys can get some sweet action shots of me grinding. Now, that really actually didn't quite do what I thought it would. So what I think we're actually going to do is we're going to come over to the toolbox here, grab ourselves a nice, actually decent hammer, and hammer some of these hard edges down. Yeah, that seems a lot nicer. As you can see, a lot of this stuff is just pretty badly rotted. But that's fine. These things, you can't really find any, I guess, aftermarket ones. Yeah, they don't repop these running boards, so I'm obviously not going to replace them. Nor am I going to take them off. And any sort of rust repair I do on this, I don't think is going to salvage it. So I think painting it's probably the best way to go. So yeah, we'll just keep it how it is. Just try to make it so it's not a terrible time for anybody using it. Like I said, it's still pretty solid. I mean, you can step on that and it's still mounted pretty well. But you know, just make it safe for the people that will rarely ride in the back of this thing. All right, that seems half decent enough for this side. We'll switch over to the other side. So now we'll repeat the same process over here. Just kind of grind these down a little bit. Yeah, just try to make it a little more presentable. All right, that's as far as I'm gonna go right now with these guys. I think I might hit it with a wire wheel, then come back through and clean all this up and see what type of damage we caused. As you can see, things escalated quickly. I got out the full gamut of tools. Yeah, this did not look this bad whenever I was over there messing with it, but the more layers of the onion that I peeled back, the worse it got. Which is fine. I'm glad I was able to get some of this sandy dirt out of here, which actually lays credence to the story from the owner that I bought this from that said this car was from Virginia near the beach. Maybe Virginia Beach? Who knows? But yeah, I was able to get a lot of this dirt out of here and stuff, and we'll obviously come through and shop back this all out. But you can see it kind of exposed more layers of rot in there that were actually just packed dirt that had been in there for so long, but that's okay. So yeah, we'll repeat the same thing on the other side. I cleaned up the front over here a little bit more, and it didn't appear that way. I mean, I guess that could be packed dirt in there, but I believe there's a popular 2000s artist that said, "Don't go chasing waterfalls." And I think that advice may lay credence here, because I ended up getting more than I bargained for, but that's all right. I knew these probably weren't in the best of shape, and I've accepted it. So we'll go ahead and get to the other side and clean it up as best as we can. And then we'll probably come through, shop back this all up. I want to hit some of these bigger like rust spots in here with a wire brush just to knock them down a little bit. Then we'll clean it all up. I guess hit it with some brake clean and then start prepping things for paint, masking things off. Okay, so I got both sides done now. Like I said, I kind of peeled back some layers of the onion on this guy, but you can see this side actually was way worse than originally expected. Once you got past the hard compact dirt, it showed a lot more of the rot. I just ended up hammering down as much as I could. Yeah, prevent any sharp edges or any spots that could cut anybody. So that's good there. This is actually the best part. I ended up hitting this pretty hard with a wire brush, and I couldn't get down to any more rot or anything. So we're gonna leave that guy. And then moving over to here. This guy's about the same as it was. No big deal. I ended up opening up a little bit more on this guy, which is all right. Could be worse. Yeah, I'm actually okay with that. Like I said, it doesn't impact the structure of this thing at all. I mean, those are the main supports for it, and then I think it screws in back to the fenders, but if that's all the rot that's on these and it's still structurally sound, I don't really care. So I'm going to come through. I'm going to shop vac all this stuff up. I'm going to clean underneath the doors because a lot of stuff seems to want to drop out of there, like spider webs and all that stuff. So yeah, just clean up the floors, clean up all this, get all the dirt and stuff out of here, and then I'll bring you guys back in once we're there and show you some more detail as far as what we're going to do. All right, so I ended up getting in here, cleaning up everything on the ground, everything that was on the running board. And I also like wiped under the doors, got any dirt out of any areas where it could fall down. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. Also sprayed, I don't know if I just said this, I can't think straight. Ended up spraying everything down with brake clean just to get it nice and clean. Like I said, I really don't care about the paint job on this. I just don't want it to look like a rusty, you know, pile of junk, because people like the rat rod look, and I guess in some ways you could classify this as a rat rod. I don't know. But I kind of want that to look nice. It really doesn't match the rest of the car. The car still has paint and primer on it, and this just looks like you slap some junkyard part on it. I know this car is not like pristine showroom condition, but this is one of those small details I think will make it worthwhile in the end. But like I said, this is pretty rotted out. Over there is not that bad. I'm happy with it though. Like I said, it still has structure and enough to be able to, you know, withstand weight being put on it. I think the way I'm going to go about it too, actually I'll show you the other side before I ramble on about this. But yeah, this side's much of the same. I think I sprayed a little too much brake clean in the cracks over here, but that's all right. We'll let that air dry a little bit, but that's not too bad. Up there's not too bad either. I think the way I'm going to go about painting this is I'm just going to close the doors. We're going to mask off like the fender, the doors, and anywhere that can get overspray on. I'm not really worried about the tires because I'm going to replace them anyway. So if they get a little paint on them, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, and then I'm just going to spray. I don't care if any overspray gets like on the rockers here or anywhere like that. I mean, the worst that's going to do is further protect this car at the end of it all. Even if there's a little bit of paint that gets splashed on them. I wipe them too with brake clean just to make sure. But yeah, like I said, I really don't care about how it looks when the doors are open and everything. All I care is at the outward appearance of it. It looks like, hey, somebody took care of that and somebody painted that. So yeah, I'm going to let this dry a little bit, go take care of the supervisor because she's been eyeing me down. I'm pretty sure she wants food and water, even though she probably has both of them, and a nice clean litter box. And then I'll start masking this off, and I'll bring you all back in once we get to the masking. Well, I won't. Nobody wants to see masking. I'll just bring you back in whenever the masking's done and we start painting. All right, we're back. I got done masking. Listen to Weekend in the Country here, and Prop Me Up Beside the Jukebox by Joe Diffie came on. Does anybody else ever wonder if anybody ever propped him up? Either way. Yeah, so I got everything masked off here. I got this Rust-Oleum rust reformer stuff. It seems to work pretty well. I used to get the Harbor Freight stuff that like didn't actually change it black. It just kind of put a coating on it. It was cheaper, and I don't know. I could actually see that it was converting stuff, I guess. I mean, it kind of made it black, but it just kind of made it like a dull sheen. This stuff just seems to go on black, and you really can't tell, but I don't know. I have a can of it, so I'm just going to use it anyway. But yeah, as you can see, everything's masked off to the best of what I feel I want to do. Like I said, the paint's obviously not perfect on this car. It's not ever going to be perfect. I'm sure you're probably shaking around on my head now because I'm shaking this can, but yeah, so let's just get to it. And I'm just going to put on a light enough coat to just get everything. I'm not really super concerned about this step, but figured I have stuff, so we might as well use it. Even if I run out of it, it's not that big of a deal. I'll put the heavier coats on with the actual paint. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to get some tucked up underneath there. Just try to get the edges here, corners, whatnot.
You might have just saw my nose drip. I think I might be a little sick, which is great, especially for this time of the year. Maybe Sam can put some awesome clown or cowboy music or something over this so this isn't super boring for you guys. So there, I mean, that's one side done. And you can already see, even though it's just splotchy black paint, it looks a million times better. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to go with like a gloss or a matte paint, but I just don't feel like buying more spray paint. So we'll go with gloss just because it's what I have. And like I said, I really don't care. All right, so there's one side. We'll go do the other side as well. All right, we're back on the other side now. Like I said, just rinse and repeat. Yeah, that looks pretty good. This side's kind of hard to see because of the way the sun's shining, but let's go to the other side and just get a quick peek at that. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That looks a million times better. It's not rubber or anything, and it's not, you know, ever gonna look like it was when it came off the showroom floor. But at the same time, I mean, that's good enough for me. The true reveal will be, like I said, after tomorrow when we splash some gloss paint on it and get it all sort of evened out. But yeah, I think that's really it for today. We'll just let this sit overnight. I think it's like 24 hours for this stuff. I mean, you could probably do it a couple hours later. It really doesn't matter. But we'll come back in the morning tomorrow and we'll splash some actual, you know, paint, not rust prevent or rust reformer on it, and see how it turns out after that. We'll catch you all tomorrow. Okay, so we're back out here today. It's probably been about 24 hours or so. As you can see, we got a nice little, you know, matte layer of rust converter spray that appears to have done its job and had kind of a nice even coat. Like I said, it's a little splotchy because I think that's just how it goes, but that's fine. This isn't the final end game, and we'll be doing a semi-gloss black on it to make it really turn out good. It might be hard to see because of the way the sun's shining in right now, but yeah, it turns out pretty good. I think we'll just do 2 coats of the semi-gloss protective enamel, and yeah, we'll just start doing that right now. Have a fresh can opened. Probably do, I like to do a light coat first. I guess it prevents fisheye. I don't know if that for sure. I've just heard that. That's the first coat. I'll bring you guys back here. I'm gonna do something real quick. Let this dry for, well, what does this can say? Allow more time at cooler temperatures. Dry as touch 2 to 4 hours to handle at 5 to 9 and fully dry in 24 hours. Apply a second coat or clear coat within 1 hour or after 48 hours. So yeah, we'll give it like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes here, and then we'll be back and spray it again. And 2 coats seems like it's gonna be in my opinion, that'll be the best case scenario. We'll come back and just do a heavier coat and let that sit probably till tomorrow morning, but I'll bring you back in when we do the second coat. Okay, we're back. It's 12:09, which is good enough for me. And we're just gonna rinse and repeat here. As you can see, it's already looking pretty decent. Not too bad. Like I said, definitely needs another coat just because I kind of went a little light with it, but now's the time to get the nice even finish all the way around and put a nice thick coat of paint on it. That way it hopefully all looks even and you know, comes out show quality SEMA ready. Just kidding. It's not what this car is. Like I said, if it looks good from like a couple feet away, way better than it did whenever it came in here, that's all that really matters to me. All in all, I think that looks like a... Whoop, I hit you off the car. That's my bad. Hopefully I didn't hurt you. It looks like a nice, pretty even coat, though. I don't see anything crazy off with it. Like I said, I really don't care either. This is just meant to make it look a little better than it was. So I'll take a final look at these, and then... well, actually, let's go look at the other side real quick. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty even. Let's get a little more in there. Get a little on that edge there. I don't know how well I hit that. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So yeah, we'll probably wait. I think it said, what, 5 to 9 hours. It's dry to the touch. I don't know. Let's see. to handle 5 to 9 hours and fully dry in 24 hours. It's a little cold out here. I mean, it's like 55 degrees today. I think you can use this maybe in that temperature. I don't know. I really don't care. Yeah, 50 to 90. But we'll probably either pop by later this evening and take this masking material off and give it the final reveal, or we'll do it tomorrow morning whenever it's probably close to completely dry. But yeah, we'll bring it back whenever that's ready to go and, you know, see the difference, see the magic, see how much a $8 can of spray paint can make something that much better. Oh, I am unfortunately sick as a dog, but I wanted to get this captured for the ending of this video. As you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but I'm in PJs and stuff, but I wanted to make sure that this got into this week's video, so we're just gonna rip off all of this masking and see what this turned out. It seems pretty dry. I had the windows open all night despite the fact that it was cold. It seems to have dried pretty decently. Luckily, it doesn't look like I got much overspray on anywhere, so that's pretty good. Well, I mean, I got overspray on the floor, but that's okay. This is not a professional shop here. So yeah, look at that. That's one side. I don't know. I think it turned out pretty decent. I think it looks better than being just a completely rusty pile. I could be wrong, but I like the way it turned out. Kind of, it would be nice if we had like a matte, well, I mean, I could have bought a matte paint to use so it looked a little bit more like rubber, but that'll probably dull over time anyway, but yeah, I think it looks pretty sweet. I'll spare you guys the pain of watching me unmask the other side. We'll show you the end result over there as well here shortly. And there's the end result of the passenger side. Like I said, it looks pretty similar. I'm actually surprised that it seems to have done a good job, I had seemed to have done a good job masking. It's way more glossier than the regular paint, but it looks better than just the rusty, gross floorboards, and it'll help protect, you know, these spots where it's, you know, worn pretty significantly from just dirt and sand and stuff sitting there. So good thing too is we can probably shine this paint up a little better, whether we use some like boiled linseed oil and stuff and make it a little bit more glossy so it kind of ties it all together. Yeah, for not being good at masking and just using spray paint that I had left over, we'll take it. I think this is gonna conclude this video. Sam needs enough time to edit it, but I said I'm unfortunately kind of sick as a dog right now, and I got a lot of stuff going on this week, so I'm gonna try to pick some low-hanging fruit on the next video of just getting stuff done so we get something out to y'all. But let me know what you'd like to see. There's a couple small things on this car that I need to tighten up, like one of the sway bar links is loose, bolts on the front bumper. I want to put this all back together, but I need another serrated nut that I need to pick up at the local hardware store. Maybe take the heater box off, clean that all out, and then hit that low-hanging fruit, and then maybe the next video we'll really start getting into fixing up the floor, because the floor is going to be the main thing we need to get this car inspectable and running, because like I said, I do want to get it inspected, and just for the fun of taking it to an inspection station and being like, can you inspect my 39 Dodge? And most people that don't live in Pennsylvania, I mean, I'm sure you live in other states that do inspections too, but you need to get a state vehicle inspection for these, or any car, I guess, and anything newer than I think it's like 75, it's emissions. But yeah, this always doesn't need emissions because it's old enough. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to take it to an inspection station. Like I said, you can antique title them, or antique plate them, antique register. You get an antique title as well, and then you don't have to get it inspected. But I want to drive this and get it inspected and stuff. I think it would be comical. I think it'd be fun taking it to an inspection station and having them inspect it, because like, what are you going to expect on it? Doesn't even have turn signals, doesn't even have seatbelts. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. You know, let me know how you think this all turned out, and let me know what else you'd like to see on this car. Thank you again. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this. Thanks. We'll see you next time.